I'm really excited to chat about something that's really close to my heart. And if you saw the title, you can't pour from an empty cup. So this is why self-care isn't actually selfish. So that is what we're here to talk about today. Now, who hasn't heard about self-care? I have seen a lot of headlines really exploring this idea from so many different angles. And some of the ideas, some of the tips, some of the things they tell you to do are pretty common across the board. And I know that we're all juggling really busy lives. We have endless to-do lists and etc. So I hope that what we talk about today, that you find something that you can add to what you're already doing for self-care. So I hope that you are doing it. But if you're not, this is a great place to start, because today we're going to have a really honest conversation about how self-care isn't some sort of far off luxury. Something that you can actually do and that you actually need to do, because it is an everyday necessity. So it's not something you need to do once a week, once a month, twice a month. You need to probably do this every day, and especially depending how stressful your life actually is. And if you watch my live I did, I think it was 2 days ago, I actually go deep into the understanding of stress and being overwhelmed. So you want to take a look at that, and it's linked in the description. So let's talk about some real talk, an honest conversation. Why self-care isn't actually a luxury, why I mentioned that you probably need to do it every single day, because let's get real. I mean, really real, because I have seen in those headlines that I mentioned, a lot of people doing a lot of different things for their self-care, but not all of us can do some of those things, realistically speaking. Self-care, let me just say this. Self-care isn't about booking expensive retreats. It's not about buying all the latest wellness gadgets. It's not about going to spend money at all if that's not what's in your budget to be able to have self-care. So we need to be realistic about what people can and can't do. So I'm going to start here. Self-care, well, let's just start here. Let's just take a few moments right where you are right now to catch your breath, right? So breathe in and breathe out. So whether you're running around at work, whether you're managing your household, chasing after kids, or just dealing with everyday stress, putting yourself first is so crucial. So think of it like this. It gives your mind a minute. So when you stop and you take a breath, it just gives your mind a minute so you can show up, right, for yourself. And I want to talk to you about something that really, this was right before I was getting ready to do this live. I was talking to someone who is really close to me today. And this may sound a lot like what you're going through, but they're going through a lot all at one time. Have you ever noticed that old saying, when it rains, it pours? When something bad happens and something keeps happening? Well, for this person, their lifelong beautiful dog is in the process of transitioning. If you're a pet owner, pet lover, you know that animals are part of your family. So it's very traumatic to the family. Her son was recently diagnosed with a chronic serious illness. She's about to move, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, this person actually has a predisposition to panic attacks, but she hasn't had one in, it's been years. But guess what? She had one last week, and it took her by surprise. And I asked her, what she had been doing for herself. And she said nothing. And I have not had time for me, is actually how she responded. And I get it, right? All that stuff going on. She's working. She's a busy mom. Now she's trying to take care of her son, who had to transition to online school. The list goes on and on and on. But you know what? Even though everybody needs her, she needs her the most right now. It's just that simple. And if you do not take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of the people or the things that you want to do or the people that need you. It's just non-negotiable. And that said, let's get to a few practical ways, because I talked about, like, I've been seeing headlines. I've been seeing people go on fancy trips, going to get, spending hundreds of dollars, at the salon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what if you can't do that and you still need to practice self-care? So that said, let's get to a few practical tips in which you actually can practice this. And these are active tips that you can do throughout your day. Now, I'm going to share these ideas with you. They are different from the typical advice that you've probably heard a million different times. These aren't about spending money, like I mentioned. They're not about carving out huge chunks of time of your day, because I'm probably guessing that you don't have a lot of time in your day. They're quick, they're simple, and they're effective. So let's talk about micro breaks. What are micro breaks? Well, have you ever noticed how a 2-minute pause can change your mood, if you've ever done this? And that's simply what it is. It's a micro break. Take a 2-minute breathing exercise or a few gentle stretches. You can do it right at your desk, but I would suggest that you actually probably move away from your environment, because there's science in how that works. So it will allow your brain, once you move away from your environment, if you can, your brain will start triggering, oh, something new is going to happen. And it'll start realizing and changing your mood through a process. And I'm going to talk about the science here a little bit, because you might be wondering, do these tiny breaks really make a difference? Because they're so small. And the answer is yes, because neuroscience and science tells us that our brains can really reset with even a few minutes or a few seconds of mindfulness. And if you don't know, that's exactly what you're doing by taking that small break. These micro breaks just interrupt a stress loop that you're experiencing in the moment. And they give your mind, your body, physically, emotionally, mentally, a time to recalibrate, so reset. So it makes you more resilient, so you're able to handle the challenges and the stress just better over the course of your day. And it works even better, like I mentioned, if you can change your environment. Don't stress if you can't, but if you can change your environment, so if you can move away from wherever you're at in the moment, it just signals your brain that it's time to change the mood. It's just part of an emotional regulation loop that's happening. And another thing I can tell you that can help you with self-care, and these are all helping you with self-care, is just unplug. Most of us are attached to, I want to grab this, something like this. Maybe you're on some other device, but taking a digital break can help you counteract the overstimulation that's happening in your body, in your brain, because what it's doing is it is resetting the default mode network in your brain, in your body, and it's allowing you to alleviate stress and some sort of cognitive fatigue that's happening. Cognitive fatigue is just simply whenever time you hear cognitive, thinking. So you may be having a hard time thinking, maybe you're having a hard time making decisions. It's all part of being overwhelmed. This is sort of the cousin to being overwhelmed, and some things that you can do to alleviate that. And it's interesting to see, and this is going to just basically boost your well-being overall. When we're constantly engaged with our phones, whatever screens, whatever's happening. And it can also be just watching Netflix all day. There's some data that's associated with how your brain is subjected to continuous stream of images, notifications, information, and it can lead to cognitive overload. So you can have problems, and it's going to increase your stress overall. So what science really tells us about the benefit of this sort of brief digital unplug is it's going to reduce the stress you feel cognitively. So you're not being bombarded with all this sensory stimuli that keeps your attention in a constant state of really high alert. And that continuous engagement is depleting your mental energy overall, and it can impair your focus. So let's say you start with 5 minutes. A 5-minute break from your phone or computer, or even watching, like I mentioned, shows, maybe you're binge watching them. It actually gives your brain a chance to reset, reduce the overload, and it allows you to be able to replenish your brain. I don't know if you know this, but also there is a stress hormone regulation that happens. So if you have constant digital engagement, it's elevating levels of cortisol, and cortisol is your stress hormone. So if you step away from that, then even briefly, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, it is going to lower your cortisol level. So it's going to help you to reduce stress. And then you're going to start feeling a little bit of sense of calm, especially if you're watching a lot of high anxiety shows, etc. And we know social media can be toxic depending on what you're doing, but I'm talking about time overall spent on it. I mentioned the default mode network. The default mode network, if you don't know, it's a network in your brain. I'm not going to go real deep into that, but it's associated with self-reflection, relaxation, and daydreaming, actually, which leads to imagination. But if you are constantly on your screen, on your phone, whatever, if you're constantly using some sort of digital device, it's keeping your brain from engaging this network effectively. So if you take that short break, it allows your default mode network to activate. So guess what? You're encouraging creativity. You're encouraging mental rest. So you will be able to be more productive. There's also this thing called attention restoration. I think this is the last thing I want to mention in this space. But according to this theory, your directed attention, so the focus that you're using to process detailed or demanding tasks, actually gets fatigued over time. And I think you probably know that if you're doing one task for a very long time, especially if you're on your phone for a very long time. Getting away from that for a minute gives your brain a chance to shift away from intense focus, become more relaxed. So it's going to restore your ability to concentrate when you return to work. Now, listen, or whatever you're doing. In essence, that brief 2 minute, whatever minute digital detox is allowing your brain a chance to recover from constant stimulation. It's going to allow you to lower your stress levels. It's going to reset your focus. It's going to lead to improved mood and productivity over time. And you know what? I actually want to say that a lot of people don't realize that this is a form of self-care. You've got to take care of yourself. Pausing, taking away that sensory overload, it allows you to ground and really notice things around you. Maybe you notice a plant, a favorite song comes on, the texture of how your coffee mug feels. Just take that time, the small time away from that digital space will heighten your sensory moments around you and help you reconnect with the present. Now, when I talk about engaging your sensory pathways, I'm basically mapping out for you how sensory grounding boosts awareness and reduces stress by engaging your senses and how it calms your nervous system. And basically, it's a form of mindfulness. I know that might be shocking, but it is. So it's not something that you have to really focus on, which I think makes it really easy for you to be able to do, because you're going to interrupt those stress cycles. You're going to engage mindfulness. You're going to enhance sensory processing, all of those things, and improve grounding and awareness. And studies on this really demonstrate how good this is for your overall well-being. So it's important. Those tips can help with just sensory grounding. And just basically, you're tapping into your own brain's natural ability to respond to sensory input. And this is scientifically backed, but I can promise you it's an easy method for you to do to reduce stress in your life, give you self-care, enhance your focus. So it's like a win-win situation for you. So just try it and see what happens. So I also want to say this. Another thing you can do for self-care is an honest check-in, a real honest check-in with yourself. Well, what does that look like? Well, spend a moment asking yourself, how am I really feeling right now? There's no judgment, just awareness in the moment. It's a quick self-reflection, no judgment, just awareness on how you're actually feeling in the moment. Okay. So that is super important to do. And it can help guide you in deciding if you need to actually, maybe you need to take a mini break. Maybe you need to get off your cell phone. It's just an honest check with what you're doing. And it's essential for you to be able to do, because it's going to foster your self-awareness. And when you do that, you're helping yourself with emotional regulation. Of course, there's science behind it. And I'm just going to briefly mention the science behind it. But like I said, it's going to enhance your self-awareness. And it does this because when you pause and you ask yourself, how am I really feeling right now? What you're doing is it's not just a mental process that's happening. You're not just talking to yourself, right? What you're doing is actually engaging on a physical level. Because there are some interoceptive networks in your brain. They are clicking in when you say that, and they're helping you tune into your internal bodily sensations and your emotions. And you need to sense those and feel those to really understand your true state of being. Okay. And also, it's activating your prefrontal cortex. If you're regularly self-reflecting, what is your prefrontal cortex? You didn't come here for a brain lesson. So I'm just going to be real quick and tell you that that's the area of your brain that's responsible for decision making. So if you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out and you can't make decisions, or you have no self-regulation, or you can't moderate your emotions, this is going to help you do it. Okay. And it is a form of self-care. And it's going to reduce emotional responses by, activating your amygdala. That's another brain area involved in emotion. So you can see how this is kind of a feedback loop, if you will, because it's going to improve those behavioral and emotional regulation. So what do I mean by that? So if you find yourself like getting really mad easy, or stress out easy, or crying easy, or very sensitive easy, et cetera, this is going to help regulate that, because it's a feedback to behavioral change just by regularly checking in with yourself and just becoming more attuned to your mental and emotional state. So these honest check-ins, they're not just a momentary pause. They're actually, you're actually doing something physically, and it's scientifically supported. It's a method to enhance your self-awareness, regulate your emotions, and maintain overall mental well-being. And you can just do it. Like, imagine you're sitting at work, or maybe you're at home, and you just stop and do a little bit of self-awareness. And it doesn't really take a lot of time. I want to show you something. This is one way in which I like to practice self-care. And remember, it's different for everyone. So I recently bought myself something and I'd like to unbox it with you if that is okay. So let me grab it. It is, ta-da, this. So what is this? I got this off of Amazon actually. And this is like a gift box that you can buy for birthdays, whatever. But I bought it for myself. You know why? Because it makes me happy. It makes me happy. Again, you don't have to buy things, obviously. But I saw this and I was like, you know what? I want to get this for myself. And you can see it says Hello Sunshine. And it has my favorite sunflowers on the outside. And then when you open it, so happy gift day to me, happy self-care day to me. Let's take a look. Oh, look what we got. We got something, and look, it says made especially for you. It makes me so happy just opening it, right? So here we go. Let's see what's in it together. Let's unbox it together. First, you can see this sending you a little bit of sunshine. So let's open it. Open it with me. Open it with me. See what we got. So I think it's a little card. Like, so if you were giving this as a gift, you could open this up and yeah, you can write something in it. So it's like a little card and it says sending you a little sunshine. And so you can send someone a little sunshine. I sent myself a little sunshine. I should have wrote myself something in here. I love you. You are amazing. You got this. All of those affirmations. And I have affirmations on this channel if you have a playlist for those. So very important, can change your mindset on things. But this makes me happy. I'm smiling, opening it up. So I'm super happy. And my birthday's this month. So this is a little early birthday present for me. Look what else I got, y'all. Isn't this just so cute? So what is this? I don't know. Let me open it. It looks like a little bag. So this is pretty cool. Yes, this is self-care. This is part of self-care, y'all. It's me. Can you see the joy? Oh, cool. It's a bag. You see? Almost like a little makeup bag or pen bag or any type of bag that you want it to be. Things that you want to hold in here that comes in here as well. And because I really love sunflowers, I really get excited for stuff like this. So we got the bag so far. We've got the little message so far. Let's see what else we have in here. Okay. We have this. This looks like a old watch of sorts. But on the front, if you can see, it says Hello Sunshine. And let's see what's in it. Oh, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. So that's what it is. It is a mirror that you can see yourself in. I really like that a lot. Okay. And you can carry it, put it in your purse, put it in your car, do whatever. Really like that. Really like that it says Hello Sunshine on it. And we're not done. There's still more in here. And I think this whole box was less than $20. I don't think I even spent that much on it, which is important for me personally. And guess what else I got? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It says a cup of sunshine for you. So, and look, it's got the nice little lid that you can open and close on it. I don't have to figure out how to do it, but the lid on top, you could put hot liquid, it looks like, in. You could put cold liquid in it. So this excites me. I'm happy every time I see this. This will make me smile. So you can see why I originally named my channel what I did, because it makes me happy. It brings me joy. And we still have more stuff in here, y'all. Let's see. I don't know what's in here. And again, this is all nicely packed in here. You can still see I'm unpacking it, which is, I think it's the way it's presented is so also brings me joy. I think this may be a bath bomb. I think this is what this is. So if you take a lot of baths and stuff, that's one way you can de-stress, is, just relax in a bath. Maybe you want to put candles, but I think this is a bath bomb. Yep, it's a bath bomb because I can smell it. Oh, that smell reminds me of childhood. So that's what that is. And we still have more, and that is super exciting. So, and it looks like the bath bomb, and remember the candle I told you? It looks like we have a candle in here. Don't know what it looks like, but I'm excited. Yep. Gross. Hair got in my mouth. Sorry. Sending you sunshine. And it is a candle. So, and it smells good. So you can also use this with your bath bomb if you take a nice bath, which I really like. All right. And we got some socks. Some socks for your feet, which is a good time this year because it's kind of chilly. And they got a little heart on it. Yep, a little heart. And they're nice and fuzzy socks, so they keep your feet warm. Oh, and look. This is a straw for the cup. So you can put a straw in here and a little brush to be able to clean it, which is really cool. And I got one last thing in here that I have to show y'all, which is too cute. You could put this on your computer, on your desk. It says, if you can't see it, it says positive duck. It says, I may be a tiny duck, but I believe in you. Go do you. Go do your thing. You're ducking awesome. With a D. You're awesome. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So this is your little positive duck. I love that. So that is one way. Thank you for unboxing that with me. That is one way in which I do self-care. Not necessary to do that. You don't have to buy yourself something. Thanks for unboxing that gift for me, which is super. It made me so happy. You know what I especially love about this box? Sorry, I have to go back to it. Who doesn't love a positive duck? Oh my goodness. This is just too adorable. I'm just going to have this up here every time I do a live. I'm just going to put it right here so I can see it. Or even when I do record a video. I don't know. Or a podcast, because we are a video podcast channel here now. Okay. So let's explore. This is the last thing that I actually want to discuss today, which is exploring how different ways that you can actually get started. So I mentioned a few tips here for you to get started, things that you can do that don't require any money or anything like that. So let's explore deeper. And I want to do that by recapping a little and then bringing in a little bit more information. So we talked about micro breaks or mini breaks. What's a micro break and how do you do one? Well, again, it's just a short pause, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe if you have the time. You could get up from your area, you could walk, you could do a lot of things, or you can just close your eyes and you can take in a slow, deep breath to reset if you're not able to move from your environment. Maybe your question, maybe you're thinking, you know what, I'm busy. I'm just too busy. I don't even have time for that. So my answer to you would be try scheduling it in to your day. Just schedule in that moment between tasks. Even a 5-minute digital detox that we talked about can help you regain focus, or just schedule in 2 minutes into your day. You also might be thinking, even after we talked a little bit about what self-care is, and I gave you the example of someone that's close to me. I showed you an example of what I do for self-care. How do you know if you really need a break? Well, most of us just simply do. We lived in a really fast-paced world. We got a lot going on, a lot of deadlines. But then I would tell you to tune into your body. Tune into your body. If you feel tense or if you notice that you have a lot of racing thoughts, you can't sleep, you can't turn your mind off, that's a signal that it might be time for a quick reset. And what if you, another thing is you may be thinking, well, I can't step away. I can't take time from work. I'm in my office, I'm working. I can't take time away from my family. You feel guilty about it. Here is something important that I want to tell you. Remind yourself that a short break can actually boost your productivity, okay? It can shift your mood just instantly. Now, there is one, I will tell you one quick self-care thing that you can do at your desk. You can just try maybe a quick, brief stretch, stand up, walk around in your office if you can't move, because movement just will help break up those long periods of sitting. So not only is it good for you physically, it's good for you mentally. If you're feeling overwhelmed all the time, you may be thinking, well, how do I even start with these small steps? And that's actually a lot of people think that way. Just start by choosing just one small thing to do. And I could tell you maybe a 2-minute breathing exercise, maybe a 1-minute breathing exercise, and then just gradually add more things as you feel more comfortable doing things for yourself. And that sounds strange to say, but many people just simply do not feel comfortable doing things for themselves. And I know it sounds weird to say that, but think about how you treat your best friend, your family. You tell them that you love them. You do things for them all the time. Maybe you buy them gifts here and there. How often do you do that for yourself? And actually, do you feel comfortable doing it? That's such a common thing, especially with busy moms, moms that are working, career, whatever you're doing. So start by doing that. How do you practice? I talked about sensory grounding. And you may be thinking, well, how do I practice that without having any tools? Just simply focus on your senses. Focus on your senses. You know what your senses are. Notice if you're drinking something, if you're drinking coffee, notice how the coffee, if it's warm, if it's cold, notice sounds outside. Just kind of close your eyes or even keep your eyes open. Notice the sounds around you. Like right now, the sounds that I hear, if I close my eyes, I can hear the dryer with the laundry in it. Hopefully you can't hear it, but I can hear it. Okay. I can hear the fan overhead going because it gets hot. I have all lights up to try to get better lighting on the video, and it gets hot under the light. So I can hear the fan above me. So those are the things I can hear. So I don't know what you hear in your environment, but there are things that you can hear. So that's one way in which you can practice sensory grounding. You may be wondering at this point if self-care can really improve your mood immediately, because immediacy is what we're looking for. And I'm going to say yes, even as just some of these small things that you're doing. If you're, doing a small pause, that can certainly shift your mindset. It can help you feel more centered. It can help you feel calm. What happens if you forget then to take these breaks throughout your day? And this is where I would tell you to schedule it in or set a timer or a reminder on your phone. Most of us have our phone close to us. Yes, we just simply do. Set a reminder on it, just as if it's another task. Integrate it into your existing routine. Simply transform that moment that, like a moment that you're already having. So like waiting in line. If you're waiting in line, you can do a sensory pause. You can stop and think about things that you're hearing around you. It shifts your brain. Okay. It shifts your brain, and it is part of self-care. So like I told you at the beginning, I'm not going to give you the standard stuff that you're used to hearing about self-care. Yes, I unboxed and bought myself something that may be considered standard. Taking a luxury vacation or spa day. Certainly, yes, you can do those things, but I'm offering you things that you can do without having to buy anything, without having to take huge chunks of your time throughout the day that you may not already have, which may be preventing you from doing some more traditional self-care. Okay. How would you make this a habit? without it feeling like a chore? So that may be a question that you have. How do I make self-care a habit without feeling like it's another chore? Just integrate it into your already existing routine. That's all that you need to do. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by the advice I'm giving you or all the advice out there, you may be asking yourself, how do I know that your advice is going to work for me? How do I know that this advice over here that I've been getting is not going to work for me or is going to work for me? And where do you start? I'm just going to tell you, start with what feels natural. Start with what feels natural. If it's not what I'm telling you, use something that someone else is telling you. Because just do it. Take care of yourself. So just begin with what feels natural, even if it's this, even if it's just noticing how you're feeling in this moment. Take a minute just to notice. Are you feeling angry? Are you getting annoyed at what I'm saying? How are you feeling? Agitated? Just notice that. That's just a great start to start at. Is it okay for you? Is it okay for your self-care routine to look different every single day? And the answer to that is absolutely. Now, if you're a person that needs to schedule something in, just schedule something in differently. Maybe you get bored easily. So it's absolutely normal for it not to look the same every single day. Self-care is personal. So it's going to change with your mood and it's going to change with your day. So maybe you have more time, say on a weekend, if that's your days off, maybe Wednesday's a day off and it might look a little bit different. And how do you know which self-care practices are actually working for you then? Because I have seen a lot of advice give you all this advice, but they don't tell you, well, how do you know if it's working for you? And maybe you're feeling stressed just trying to integrate all this new stuff into your day. Well, there's an easy answer for that. How do you feel after you do the practice? Do you feel better? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more energized? That's usually a good sign that something you're doing is working. Perhaps you're not a mindfulness person, because I remember when I first started hearing about mindfulness and first started practicing that into my existing routine, I kind of was annoyed. I kind of thought it was a buzzword and I was tired of hearing about it all the time. Well, there are other things that you can do, which is what I started with and didn't realize that I was actually doing kind of a mindfulness practice, which was just taking short walks, just enjoying a moment of silence, did not realize it. And so it doesn't have to be labeled. So don't label it. Just do what feels right. If you have a lot of young kids and you can't really get away for a lot of times, or you want to involve your family in this without it feeling sort of like a forced fun time, just kind of share these moments casually with your family. For example, you can suggest like a good sort of pause in the day. Just take a moment of silence in the day. Suggest you could do that right before you all eat dinner. Just suggest everyone take a deep breath. Yep, they might look at you crazy, especially if you have teenagers or preteens, or maybe even your partner might look at you a little silly, but do it anyway. I promise you, they'll thank you. You can, like I said, these are questions that I'm getting. So can you practice these tips at work? Yes, even discreetly, taking a 2-minute breathing break at your desk can make a big difference. What if you're in a noisy environment, and how can you find a moment of calm in a noisy environment? Because I told you could do it anywhere. Well, there are lots of ways. If you're doing the sensory mental focus, what you could do is just you focus in on the noise that you hear. If you don't want to do that, you can put on noise canceling headphones if you have them, but most people don't. I don't think most people walk around with those, but you could just kind of tune into the hum of what's going on around, because there's usually some sort of frequency that's going on in your environment. So it's about just kind of finding your personal calm in the noisy environment, or perhaps you refer to it as chaos around you. Another question that I'm getting is it normal to feel a bit awkward about taking these breaks? And the answer to that, I will tell you, is absolutely. At first, you're going to feel awkward. It feels strange at first, but the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more natural that it becomes. Another question that I'm getting is, what's one small change that I can make today to start caring for myself? Well, I can tell you, try this. Pause for a moment, take 3 slow, deep breaths, and notice how, in that brief moment, how that changes your day. It's just a simple way to begin. Okay. So those are forms of self-care that a lot of people don't talk about. Most of the time we talk about, hey, go take a bath or go to the spa, or we do talk about something else. I think this will be the last thing that I will talk about today, because I think this is really important. Journaling. Okay. Now, that is something that I actually do a lot of, is journaling, because it's so important to me, and it's a form of self-care. It's a form of self-reflection. This is a great journal, little plug here, but this is also helping to heal with trauma and other things. So if you really are a person that gets benefit from that, or if you've never tried it, give it a try, because I think journaling is so important. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you were able to gain something here that can add to your self-care arsenal. Whatever you do, just do it. And until we meet again, take care of your mind, body, and soul.